the impact of artificial intelligence on the job market's evolution and rise.
Fabulous. Now, I would usually announce the moderator and ask them to come to stage, but I am actually the moderator, so I am going to take a seat and I'll invite my amazing panelists. So we have Adam Woodley, the founder of A1 Talent. So Adam, please come on down. Did you guys manage to sneak around without me knowing? We have Tatiana Davidova, the CEO of HRM. We have Cordelia Morgan Cooper, the founder of CMC Consulting. And back again, we have Naveen Goyal, the CEO of Hyphene. Welcome, my amazing panelists. Sorry, everyone, you are stuck with me for a panel, but I promise to make it interesting. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves, make everyone know who you are.
Adam Woodley, founder of A1 Talent. We're a HR and talent consultancy.
Amazing. Tatiana?
Tatiana Davidova. I'm the CEO and the founder of a startup, which is trying to use AI to improve the recruitment process and as well to make the atmosphere between workers a bit better. And we specify in software developers.
Fantastic.
Hi, everyone. Hello? Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Cordelia. I'm the founder of CMC Consulting, a one-stop shop for everything HR and recruitment related. I'm passionate about employee experience and being able to partner with businesses to help improve internal processes. I'm really happy to be here today.
I'm Naveen Goyal. There are two companies I'm working with. One is into consulting and advisory space, marketing, technology, strategy advisory. And we have a vertical in gaming and gambling. There's another company where we develop technology solutions. So we have gaming products, poker casino products, and we do some bit of AI integrated with the gaming products.
Amazing. Okay, and I think you guys already know who I am, but I want to give a shout out to SiGMA actually, because last year I became part of the Global AI Council, just because when I was in Manila I met another member and we were truly passionate about the future of AI. So I think it's great to start with just understanding where are we currently in terms of recruitment and the job market, and where are you seeing the future? So Adam, why don't you start?
Okay, so I think we're quite early on. I think we're scratching the surface. I'm working with a lot of businesses at the moment, trying to understand the power of unlocking ChatGPT. It's had a lot of airtime today. Using the premium features for things like creating FAQs, so you can cut down on a lot of your admin time, sending out to prospective candidates. But also using it for talent intelligence. So if you're looking, where should you be fishing for the best talent or for particular skill sets, you can also use it for that as well. It's fantastic. I think a lot of automation. I think the area of candidate experience and chatbots, I think there's a lot of scope for that. So I think a lot of the stuff, and I think a big theme today is going to be around maybe cutting down on the more administrative tasks and focusing on some of the more strategic things, at a more kind of senior level. So I think that's where the big players. Cutting down on admin, making the process more optimized, more efficient.
Tatiana, I guess you're going to have something to say about that as well.
Yeah, we were just chatting before, and I would first want to say that we're like AI enthusiasts. We believe that implementing AI in HR can make the life of workers much better, because we spend a lot of time educating the juniors. And at some point of time, for not a very big company as ours, we might end up losing them because the large banks come in and multiply their salaries by 5. So we was thinking of what can we do to our workers to make sure they stay in the company. So basically, we are teaching AI to analyze more juniors, to analyze the students. And then in the end, we make sure that they stay at the company.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How you can actually retain all of your employees, keep them happy, and actually making a model that's based around your employees, that is not just something which fits everyone, it's targeted to who you have in your workforce. And Cordelia, discussing about AI as well, how do we feel like it could have a negative impact? Could it cause redundancies, or would it actually boost more new opportunities?
Yeah, I think this is a really good question, because when looking at AI, people at the moment are only really seeing the huge opportunities, and there are actually many challenges working within HR, recruitment, and AI. I think one of the first things that I've seen with clients is presenting candidates with tests as part of a final stage recruitment process. Candidates are now resorting to using ChatGPT. They're literally putting the entire challenge through that. Of course, the moment it comes back, it shows no initiative, it shows an element of laziness, and also it shows that people aren't willing to look outside the box. So I think that we will need to develop more intelligent tools eventually that are able to spot this, because effectively it is plagiarizing partly, and it's important that if candidates are joining your business, that they also are able to think of their own ideas. You know, using ChatGPT as an initial part of the process is one thing, but presenting that as purely your work, I think that's another.
Yes, for sure. Does anyone in the panel have an answer to something like that, to bounce back at that style of thinking?
Yeah, I think some of the transactional things are being sorted by the bots, right, which, let's say, does the shortlisting. Now, the people who actually used to do shortlisting, the base level recruiters, they probably don't have jobs, but then they have a higher job of thinking, right? And I think this thinking element is very important. How do you interact with the candidates? How do you be in touch with them? And maybe not now, maybe in the future, right? So they have more time, they have freed up more time to engage with the potential candidates and leave the mundane jobs to sort of shortlisting. So it's more positive in my view rather than negative.
Yes, I think that's the very difficult thing with AI, is saying there are positives, but also there's always negatives. And time is something which keeps on coming up as being a positive.
Absolutely.
Because it means human beings have more time to be creative. But how do we really feel like it's going to revolutionize recruitment? Tatiana, obviously you touched on this as well.
We think that at some point of time, when most of the jobs are already digitalized, you can bring, especially in HR, you can start a June, and the AI chat or whatsoever brings the June to the level of the senior user, because it's so much easier for them to use all the applications and all the wisdom of other like senior workers.
Amazing. Adam?
Just on that, I mean, Goldman Sachs predicted 300 million jobs could be at risk, and that's just with our current lens. So the big sort of ethical concern is that a lot of these tend to be lower skilled jobs. So that could result in a bigger pay disparity and social inequality with the growth of AI taking particular roles away from humans. So that's definitely an ethical conversation to be had there.
Yes, for sure. And it also could mean that we need to retrain people into doing different roles. So Cordelia, how do you feel about that? How can we stay on top of things and start teaching people that maybe they need to take a different track in life?
I mean, I think there's been a lot of scaremongering in the industry and also in the media. I personally don't feel that robots are taking over the world just yet. But I think that it's important that more junior people are able to personally upskill themselves by taking part in external courses, but also that businesses are investing into their teams, that they're spending the money and the resources to be able to help train and develop them. You know, if we look at Generation Z coming through now, these individuals want to know what's in it for them. If they're joining a business, what type of a business are they joining? Why are they joining it? And it's important that they can see their career development in the next 3 and 5 years. And I think that this is something that will need to be more of a focus, and that's how businesses will retain good staff.
I'd actually say as well, I'd go a little bit further back as well. I think a lot of it comes down to education and the educational institutions. It has to start there. And I don't feel educational institutions have always been future-proofed. So it's about educating at a much earlier age, educators, to make sure that the people coming through are being taught the right skills that can be relevant by the time they enter the job market. So that it has to start there.
Yes, I think that comes up actually a lot now, is that maybe the schooling system in ways is failing our children a little bit by not giving them the right applications. Like we study mathematics, but we actually learn how to apply it in life. We said yesterday, you know, most people don't really understand taxes and their own finances. Hardly anyone can say they truly understand the financial system. So maybe that's really the first ways we can go on this. And as we were talking about robots and humans, how do we think we can differentiate between robots and humans, even when it comes to job applications? Are we going to be having, more like AI bots applying for jobs? And would we consider hiring that in the future? What do we think about that? Who has any ideas about that one?
Oh, well, this is a very interesting topic, right? Hardware hasn't paced up as much as software, right? So just hand muscle movement, probably more than 500 muscles are involved. Machines, from a hardware perspective, have not coped up. Software is, right? So robots are not coming soon. Few decades.
But how about AI bots? Say an AI bot can start applying for jobs. I know this is only in the initial phases of recruitment. Yeah. Then you might have a Zoom call and it's irrelevant. But how can we stop it? Can we stop AI being able to apply for jobs?
Well, I think I'll sort of give you an example. In poker, they are called HUDs, right? And there are softwares that actually plays poker, acting on behalf of a real player. And for a long period of time, poker companies were not able to identify whether it's actually a bot playing, because they play hands very efficiently, right? But as and when these things come, we would always be able to figure out how to identify whether it is a bot, right? By the way they speak, for example, by the kind of words they use, the spacing between two words, and all of these parameters would be very beneficial in building up algorithms that would really identify this is actually a human, because we all have flaws while we speak.
Yeah, and I think, look, one of the key things is that HR teams and internal recruitment teams, they're not going to be replaced anytime soon, because like Lily said, if a bot applies for a role, if a bot writes somebody's CV, yes, okay, maybe they make it through the screening phase, but then when you have a video call and they don't turn up, then you know that they're probably not actually human. And I think that we're still a very long way off before AI is able to replicate what humans can do when it comes to behavioral interviews, when it comes to understanding people's experience, their mindset, their motivations. I think that we're a long way off there.
Just adding on to that as well, let's not forget AI sits behind code written by humans. So at its current stage, there's a lot of error. There's a lot of room for, at the end of the day, if you're trying to stop discrimination and things like that, it's bias, because people have their biases. At the end of the day, the code that sits behind it is written by people. So I think we have to be a little bit careful in terms of the current state of play where we are with it.
Amazing. And Tatiana, you know how we were discussing about people's personality traits. I want you to explain a little bit more about that and see how our panelists feel about your personality test.
Basically, what we did, as I was telling my colleagues before, we tried to implement the different sorts of personality tests, including numerology, astrology, Clifford tests. And as I said, we're focused on software developers. We are now collected all those things together, and we're trying to teach the AI to analyze the candidates according to their dates of birth as well. And then we believe that at some point of time, HR robots would be hunting people, which will help you, choose from 10,000 candidates the one unique person who perfectly fits your company. And that's what we are...
Cordelia.
So sorry to jump in. I love the fact that you said that perfectly matches it, but I think the skill of a very skilled recruiter is that it's not about the perfect match, it's about finding that person that is the spark. There are often many people that can do the role, but if you're an expert recruiter, you're able to take that role and say, you know what, even with this experience match, even with where this person has worked, they could be perfect for the role. It's sometimes, the wild card, and they're the ones that get the role. And I don't think that AI will be able to replace that.
Also, AI has to be able to, from a client perspective, recreate how a business can sell itself, tell its story, convey its culture. And these are human traits that people look for when they are hiring and, more importantly, looking for the right business for them in terms of choosing the next place for their career. So it's going to be a long time, I think, where an algorithm could really convey the softer side and the culture of an organization.
Amazing. Tatiana, did you have something to say back? I like just having the back and forth. It makes it more interesting.
No, I'm sure that AI is not going to replace experienced recruiters, for sure not, because people who are like on top of the recruitment line, they have a special feeling for other people. They don't need numerology, astrology, or anything else. But if you take the June recruiter in a large company and you put the AI on top of them, then you get the senior recruiter out of the June. And what I believe is that when the half of recruitment, at least, is done by the robots, then the real recruiters, the HRs in large companies, can look into inner problems, as we were discussing with you before. We believe that in the next couple of years, there are going to be large problems with the psychology, things, because people spend so much time at work, and recruiters or HR departments of the companies can look more into, making the better surrounding for their workers, and that's going to bring the level of life for everybody to, level up.
And Naveen down there, let's get you involved as well. I like to say to people when they're worried about AI, it could actually reduce our working week potentially. It could give people more time. How do you feel about that? Can it reduce down the actual work we need to do as humans?
Yeah, see, there are all sides to it, right? One of the sides here is candidates would be very scary to know that someone else knows about them more than they know about themselves, right? Astrology, psychology, and you build them all in their algorithms. And then I come to you and you start thinking about me from a different perspective.
We're just making sure the workers are very happy, and they do their work well.
Yeah. But I think, most of the transactional things would really go to these machines. Let's say AI algorithms, very transactional things. Still, it's going to take some time for these algorithms to start thinking and start connecting with candidates emotionally, which is, I think, very important when a human element needs to be there. And as I said, by the time these robots, for example, can come up to a level where they can be very adept in terms of interacting with a human, probably we need to rebuild another Matrix movie.
Oh, sometimes it does. There are moments that I'm like, now I'm concerned. But we have only a few minutes left, so I want you all just to say something as a closing comment. Should people out there be worried about AI? Will it be taking over our job market, or what is your perspective on it?
No, it's something that should be embraced. The best way to look at it is a hybrid tool, mixed with the brilliance of the human brain, human mind, with the EQ and the softer skills. We will hopefully make our lives easier, take away more admin tasks, and optimize recruitment functions.
Amazing. Tatiana?
Well, if we look on how the job market looked 300 years ago, there were no software developers, there were no content creators. And definitely it's going to be a big change in the nearest 2-3 years. And we believe the new jobs are going to come up to the markets.
Yes, and so we think more of the jobs will be more the tech side of things, like we were saying about losing jobs, but do we think we can recover that on the tech side?
Well, I think that still the tech side is never going to replace humans, because they can replace just some basic knowledge, but then imagination and all the human aspects are not definitely going to be replaced.
But
we're just going to make it much better, also we think that, okay, some jobs might get replaced, but then it's going to be much easier for people to start their own business.
Okay, and do we think, the numbers we are throwing out about in terms of banking, some of the jobs will be lost, can that be recovered even by coders and people being the human input into AI? Do we think that that can mitigate? We've got a nod, we've got a no. Yes, no.
I don't think no.
Okay, we have a no. Cordelia?
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, we don't want to be doom and gloom. It's all about looking to the future and what we think is going to happen, and it's almost impossible to predict. But I do think that senior people in businesses will continue to be needed for sure. Maybe more junior roles may be replaced, but you're still going to need people to interpret the AI. I often say recruitment is like matchmaking, and to imagine that that could be replicated artificially for now, I think we're a long way off.
We actually had a matchmaker on this stage yesterday, and she was saying exactly that. She was saying any algorithms you put in place, you sometimes just cannot predict exactly if people are a pair. It's a fill.
But I think, the way I feel is that everyone would have to upgrade themselves, upskill themselves. I don't think jobs would be lost. It is just that the mundane job that they'll be doing, they'll have to start thinking, because ultimately in business you have to find solutions to problems, right? It's not just transactional. You have to think. There are crisis situations, and it happens all the time in our life, in our work. So every job, according to me, would be upskilled to start thinking more and not just do what they're supposed to do. So rather than job loss, I think it is more about more creative in doing their jobs.
Very true. And I, as I've said many times, it's all down to us as this audience, us as a panel, to structure the future how we want it to go. If we want to push AI, AI does take over jobs. If we put in rules and legislations to absolutely help our future, and that's why we're all here together. I think make sure, please reach out to my amazing panel. That's all we have time for. But if you do have any questions about HR and the future of HR, I think all these guys would be amazing to reach out to. So a big round of applause for our panel. Thank you so much, guys. That was amazing. Thank you. That was great. No, I really enjoyed that. Really, really enjoyed that. I like to make it a bit of a debate. I think it's important that we don't all agree with each other and we force each other to question things. Oh, photo.